Time to play.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, wait a minute. Something didn't feel right on that one. I mean, I know today's the NFL release schedule for what's going to happen this upcoming season, but wait a minute. Wait a minute. That didn't feel right. Hold on. Time out. Let's restart that. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, now that feels right. We are back live here on the Flex Network. It is the Weekend Review, show. I don't know why you're messing with my mic over there, Jim Boy. Just stop. Okay, I know. I know the NFL stuff just came out today, but you know what? That didn't mean you have to, start with NFL music. Can't find good help these days, can you? That's why I said you can't help me. Go. You've obviously failed at that. But otherwise, yes, it is the Weekend Review show here on the Flex Network. And you know what? It is almost money in the bank time. Yeah, I said it right. That's why I'm surrounded by ladders. I am surrounded by this very successful and very unforgiving matchup that everyone seems to relish and love so much about the month after WrestleMania time, where we're going to have a ladder match and just see who's going to become number one, have a guaranteed opportunity for a championship 365 days a year for one full year. So that is going to be awesome and sweet to see. But you know how this works here on the show. When we go live, it's always we are live. Yep. It's the show that everyone loves to see. It's wrestling. And we're going to get into this. It is Money in the Bank week, and we are just excited as hell to be seeing what is going to transpire at Money in the Bank this week, with the two ladder matches going on at the same time. Yes, I said it. At the same time that the men and the women will be going at WWE headquarters. So it is going to be a freaking, destruction. I hope Vince McMahon has his insurance, paid up at WWE headquarters at Stamford, Connecticut. They have, a good contractor to get their stuff fixed because this is going to be very, very chaotic. And I hope Vince got his, anything that he does not want broken, anything that's memorable out of the building because money in the bank, the guys and the girls, you're going to have 12 men and women going at these, going through this building and essentially tearing shit up. So it is going to be very, very, very interesting to see what happens this Sunday at Money in the Bank. Let's get into the show. We'll talk about what's going to happen, the matches we know, who's going to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match coming up in a little bit. Raw. Let's get into a little Raw. Let's get into some Monday Night Raw with. I don't know why that popped up on my phone, but yeah, let's get into some Monday Night Raw and talk what's been happening. Big shocking return of the phenomenal AJ Styles is back in Raw, and he qualified in the last chance gauntlet match for the final spot thanks to Apollo being removed due to leg injury from the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. So that was, granted, I kind of set, spoiled that he was going to be in the match a couple weeks ago because I just didn't feel like, Apollo was going to, granted, last week, thinking with Apollo's injury going to happen, it sucked. But then again, that's, it takes someone out that probably should be in the match. I don't know what's going on, over here. But yeah, so with AJ Styles now getting into the match, he's now part of the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Other big matches, Charlotte taking on Liv Morgan. That was a hella good match for Liv to get her feet back wet into even actually getting her feet wet into title contention for down the road or even an attempt with Becky Lynch. So I actually like seeing what Liv Morgan's been doing recently. With her coming back and this new attitude and new look, it has been awesome to see and just great for her being separated from the Riot Squad and being out on her own. Granted, the way that she came back, not the best way. It was just forced upon her. That's what everyone was thinking because she's coming into this rivalry with Rusev and Lana and Bobby Lashley. This whole triangle now, yeah, everything with that was a mess, and we all know that. So now, months later, after WrestleMania, after getting essentially after Elimination Chamber getting decimated by Shayna Baszler and bashed into that cage like it was going out of style. But after WrestleMania, I think this will be a time for her to get that push and be in the conversation of probably getting a title shot down the line or even winning the championship down the line. Again, it's also going to depend on what happens with Shayna, with Becky, whoever wins the ladder match this Sunday. So again, there's going to be a lot of variables, but Liv Morgan having an opportunity for a good match, a great match, that's in there. That's in the possibility realm now because of what she's been able to do, and now with everything going, trying to give her that push a little bit, especially after this match with Charlotte on Monday. It was awesome. It was a good thing to see for Liv Morgan. And then, of course, Drew McIntyre taking on Murphy. That one was going to be quite expected. Drew going to beat McIntyre, beat Murphy. I said Drew's beating up Murphy with his disciple, the Monday Night Messiah, not that close behind, but didn't interfere. Didn't interfere in the match. Just was like, just someone who was looking on and watching, just watching from afar until sneak attack, and then after the match, and then curb stomping and getting the title in his hands. But that's gonna be fun to watch at Money in the Bank with the title on the line. And I think that was really essentially Raw right there. I mean, granted, Shane Thorne and Brandon Vinnick defeating Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. That was a good tag team match. I mean, it was okay. Viking Raiders taking on the Street Profits. That was a good match. I mean, a good match. But with only having 5 matches on the card this week, not really that whole, and the MVP lounge. I mean, it was okay. Raw was okay, but I mean, it's been like that for a while or for a little bit. So it's nothing really new and exciting with Raw for right now. Granted, with no Lynch right now, she's been kind of MIA. And while I don't want to be saying bad things about the man right now, especially Beck, talking about Lynch, granted, she is the reigning women's champion. Get that up a little bit more on you. I said raise the mic a little bit, man. There we go. That's what I want. So, okay, look, I know that there might be a virus, going on, and there's joblessness, but you're not doing your job there, Joe. You better raise that. Better do it, or as you fight. Anyhow, back to the man. So Becky Lynch being MIA right now and hasn't had a match. We haven't seen her really since WrestleMania. I mean, granted, that was a couple weeks ago or several weeks ago. And now she's getting, offers to go on to TV shows and rumors hearing that she might be being in a Marvel movie, which would be awesome. It expands her horizons, and gets her more exposure and gives the company more exposure. But to say the least, having a champion that's not around right now, I don't want to say it. I know it's, someone's going to be saying it, down the line or maybe sooner, but I'm not going to say it that, her focus is not on wrestling. It's more branding and, outside of wrestling. It's like, no, it's not. But I know someone's going to say it, but I just don't want to hinder the fact that she's been a great Raw Women's Champion a year as champion, a year plus. So, yeah, I hope Becky can get back soon into, wrestling on Monday Night Raw, because right now she's not even booked for Money in the Bank. Literally, SmackDown Women's Championship is booked, but not the Raw, which is kind of not really saying anything, but it's also saying something like, where's Becky Lynch at? She should be defending the title. I mean, she's been off TV, no real focus on what's been going on with the Raw women, unless it's for a slot in the Money in the Bank ladder match. So that has just been kind of dragging a little bit. I mean, granted, Charlotte with the NXT championship showing up on Raw, just talking, but this past week wrestling, not once but twice, was pretty good. Let's actually get in this a little bit of moving on over to something I rarely talk about nowadays. Getting into some AEW. Just weird little, snippet to talk about that's been coming up with AEW on the last little week, but this what's been going on with AEW the last little while with not only the TNA, tournament going on, but this week with having a street fight with Jericho and Sammy Garva, Les Six Golds, taking on Omega and Matt Hardy. I really really wanted to say this, but it's like, you know that moment where if you've watched Jeff Dunham and Walter's, like there's a joke, like, hey, well, my wife would, just, if I was standing in the middle of the road, I would be like, look out. 3, 2, 1, stop. Just a joke of like I would wait for this thing to stop and like, oh, push her out of the way. It's like with this street fight and what they were doing, that entire match was so fun to see with the golf cart and the ice chest and the scissor lift. It was just too fun to watch. It was a hell of a good um show this past week on AEW. And you know what? I'm gonna bring back something that I haven't done in a while on the shit. Oh, as soon as it wants to work with me. Mm, rrr. Yeah, mine's a, rrr. It's like, yeah, gotta get that back up for you guys. Haven't had it for a little while. Get the AEW, but yeah. So we're gonna talk a little AEW. I mean, this past week, if you did see, you know, it it was a good show this last night with Cody taking on Joni Janela. That was a good match. Nyla Rose, Kenzie Page. It's a good match. I mean, okay match. Moxley taking on Frankie Kazarian. That was a hell of a good match. I liked it a lot. And then Brody Lee coming out and challenging Mox for the AEW title and gets, along the way beat up by the Dark Order. We get that match, set it for, sometime later, either at Double or Nothing or within a couple weeks, whenever. Lance Archer beating up on QT Marshall. And then, of course, the Six Gods taking on Omega and Matt Hardy in the street fight. And this was a hella good match. I loved it. It was, you know, very well constructed and well destructive. Going fighting throughout Jacksonville, that arena where Jags are playing. That was, fun to see, and everything that went with it, and the return of I still call them LAX. That is the thing. I still call them LAX, because they were LAX members back in TNA. Because that's how I remember them. Ortiz and oh, where's my notes? I have them. Oh, Santana and Ortiz. Yeah, these guys, making coming back and just beating up on Omega and Matt Hardy, and eventually helping getting like Jericho and Sammy Garva the victory. That was fun, an awesome thing to see. And then of course Brandy getting DT'd and knocked out and draped over with the snake from Jake the Snake Roberts. That was awesome to see. That was AEW. Now normally I haven't been talking about AEW as much because generally I find myself watching NXT, or I generally haven't been really watching NXT a lot with unless I know a specific match I know I want to see, like the championship NXT title match or women's title match, just some, or if I happen to catch it, if I'm not busy destroying things with my buddies on Xbox Live, like I have been the last couple of weeks. But otherwise, AEW, I know that they've been, doing very well. Um, so it's not really necessary to talk about them as much because I know that they're going to have great matches. They're going to have awesome outcomes to where they're building, and I just feel like if something hasn't caught my eye with an AEW match that I want to see, then I generally haven't been able to see it. But this past week's show was awesome, really awesome, and especially the street fight. Anytime it's a street fight match, I want to tune in and see what's going to happen. So I hope you guys go out and check, rewatch this street fight. It was a hell of a good match as they're building on their road to Double or Nothing. That's gonna be happening in about 2 weeks on May 23rd, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Before we get to NXT, what happened on NXT this past week? Let's get that down. We do have a little bit of news, a little bit outside wrestling news. What's been going backstage, stuff that's been reported. But unfortunately, two people are out right now in WWE. KO is out with an ankle injury since WrestleMania when he jumped off the WrestleMania signage and decided to elbow drop onto Mr. KO or Mr. Seth Rollins there. So he's out with an ankle injury. He's just been resting up and healing up back at home. Yesterday was his birthday, so happy birthday. Chilling at home. And then other news is that Jimmy Uso is going to be out for 6 to 9 months. He's going to need knee surgery from getting injured at WrestleMania in that triple threat ladder match. So he is going to be out for a little bit. So that means the Usos are going to be out for a while, for 6 to 9 months. And you know what? If this gives them a good time to heal up, especially with what's been going on in the world. So yeah, again, it sucks that we're not going to see the Usos for a while again, but this will give give tag teams a chance to, at least on SmackDown, to get into the title picture, which has been shown what's been going on SmackDown this past past couple weeks. And then the big news that may be generally affected with what's been going on, but with the C-19 virus, we're hearing that Florida may be allowing fans back into the arenas soon. Actually, not just this soon, but this past Monday, they were allowing small amount of fans to start showing up at the shows now down in Florida. So WWE could be having fans at the Performance Center if it's a small amount, / Full Sail University, and then AEW where they're filming their shows in Florida at Jacksonville. They can allow small, the keyword, small amount of people into their shows and start to have fans into back into their stands again, which is great news because then we can start to get, while everyone's still in this slow stage of building back up to a normalcy with the slow reopening of non-essential things coming back in a trial period, like up here in Washington. We got 4 phases, 3 weeks apart before we can get to the next phase. And right now we're in this stage 1. So in about 3 weeks, we'll be into stage 2 with more non-essentials. And then eventually after 3, 6, 9, 12, about 12 weeks, 15 weeks, start to get into a normal situation. Granted, if things stay relatively good and we can get back into get low numbers in virus, deaths and exposure kind of thing. But anyhow, check your local, your news about what's going on. But still, so to have Florida allow small amount of fans to get back into the arena to cheer on to cheer on wrestlers and to have shows again. That is a big step for professional wrestling right now. If for especially for AEW and NXT and WWE, this will allow them to start to feel like a regular show again. Because if you remember the last NXT show before the SmackDown with no fans, and it was the fan appreciation night for NXT. I kind of wouldn't mind having that kind of feel again with a small amount of fans, because then it'll feel like a regular show. Uh, because with the live cheering and the live reactions, that would be great to see. So to see Florida do this and allow fans to start coming back to the shows is a great thing for Florida, since right now WWE is staying in Florida. AEW is back in Florida from being in Georgia for several weeks for recording shows. It's just going to be so good to see, if they allow WWE and AEW will actually allow the shows with fans again. It would be a good start to get back into this normalcy flow with this virus and everything. So hopefully that this will lead to something good, and the fans can start coming back, and WWE will be able to see this as, okay, we can, start to make a little money with the fans. If they want to buy a shirt, you know, great. If they want, get so that is essentially the big news coming out of wrestling right now, with the virus and everything what has been going on, and all the other news has been going on. Let's get rid of that. So let's actually talk a little bit about NXT a little bit this past week. We had some big marquee matches headlining, and and a debut of a couple people, but we had Johnny Gargano taking on Dominic Dijakovic. Um, the Rebel Heart is no more. It's the all heart and no soul Johnny Gargano getting the done against Dominic Dijakovic in a good match. Um, Changing up his theme, getting no longer a Rebel Heart, and of course Johnny Gargano tweeting about it later, like, "Oh, this is what happens when the fans don't get what they want; they whine." Um, Another match with the interim cruiserweight title tournament. Tozawa defeating the gentleman Jack Gallagher, uh, improves his record in the tournament. Let's see what else. The big debut of Karrion Kross with Scarlett and just manhandling Leon Ruff in that. His entrance, I gotta say, it was very crazy. Literally just a crazy way to come into the NXT with the theme, his look, and how, with Scarlett coming in and also, out front, and just, essentially sing his entrance. I want to say that was too much for no crowd. I would have said that would have been perfect if there was a crowd there, bigger crowd, like a normal NXT crowd or a takeover crowd, to pull that kind of an entrance off. Maybe if they would have toned it down a little bit and then just have Cross just destroy, I mean, like he did in his match with Ruff, But to pull out that big old entrance, and getting some love from my brother Corey Garcia, our my EVCC Trojan baseball coach right there, one of the assistant coaches there, checking in on the show. Um, I'm preaching. So again, I am preaching about hopefully we can get back to normalcy. But yeah, so the cross, I liked it, but tone it down for a takeover, then build it back up for that kind of pop, because it looked cool, but I feel like it was overplayed. And then the two of the big matches of the night, NXT Women's Championship being defended with Charlotte taking on Iro Shira or Iro Shirai, and of course it was a great match. Too bad it ended on disqualification terms. So I feel like Iro's just going to get another title shot, a rematch. But also, it brought back the return of the Nightmare, Rhea Ripley, into our lives. And this could be shaping up into a triple threat, or actually, I'm going to say a triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship down the line. And I would not be surprised if there was a title change when that happens. Maybe Iro will get it, or we'll get another two-time champion with Rhea Ripley. Because I really don't see Charlotte. I could probably see Charlotte being in NXT for a little while longer. But I kind of hope and am thinking that maybe it's going to. We get. Oh yeah, Michael, bruh, look at all. It's like, yeah, I'm surrounded. I am surrounded by ladders and championships because it's Money in the Bank time. Just climb the ladder. Well, more like the corporate ladder this time around. It's getting that time frame right now. We're going to talk about that in a quick bit. And then the other big match of the night, NXT title was on the line. Adam Cole defending against the Velveteen Dream. And yeah, that was a great match. I want to say that was a great match. Unfortunately for Velveteen Dream, he came up short, didn't get the title, and still your champion is Adam Cole, baby. Man, that was a awesome match to see. Granted, we had tried to get interference from the rest of the Undisputed Era, cut off at the pass, and yeah, it was just a great match to see. Flipping back and forth between AEW and NXT. So that was fun. We do know that next week for AEW, before we talk about upcoming pay-per-view this weekend and see what the card is for Double or Nothing coming up, next week we know Jericho will be in action for AEW on AEW television. MJF will be back in action. Brody Lee will take on the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels, in one-on-one action. Hiroku Shida and Penelope Ford, Britt Baker and Chris Stanley will be in the Fatal 4-Way. They'll be going head up in action right there, Fatal 4-Way in the women's division. And Jurassic Express will take on Best Friends in tag team action. So that should be fun next week on Dynamite. Haven't heard anything what's going to be happening next week for NXT, but I'm sure it'll be a banger of a show as we are. I will not want to say we're going to get close to another takeover, but yeah, I mean, because normally around this time we'd be starting to get ready for takeover for SummerSlam, but we still haven't heard an announcement of anything if what's going to be happening with takeover. But granted, we do know that SummerSlam is still going on as far as we know in Boston. So if you're going to Boston for SummerSlam in August, hopefully it's still going on, but right now it's still going. still on the cards. But you know what? Let's get this little thing ready for you guys so we can talk some SummerSlam or some not SummerSlam. We're gonna talk some money in the bank because we're gonna talk some money in the bank with what's going on this coming weekend. It's going to be fun, of course, with the two ladder matches going on at the same time. It should be funner than hell. Let's run down the card quickly. I'll talk a little bit about the Money in the Bank women's ladder match. Asuka, Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans, and Carmella. In the women's match, men's ladder match, Daniel Bryan, Rey Mysterio, Aleister Black, Corbin, Otis, and AJ Styles. This match will be those two matches will be going on at the same time at WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut. The only way that they're going to start on the ground floor of the building. They're going to fight through offices. They're going to get into an elevator. They're going to climb the stairs. They're going to get to the roof. And they are going to see a wrestling ring on the top floor. And they are going to have what is surrounding me right now, ladders on the roof. And the two Money in the Bank briefcases will be there. And the first male to grab their case, the women will grab the white one. The men will go for the green, of course, will be the winner and will have a guaranteed championship opportunity, a world championship opportunity for one full year, anytime, any place, 365 days from Money in the Bank. They could wait till WrestleMania like Seth Rollins did and cash in. They can cash in later that night at Money in the Bank. They can wait till SummerSlam. They can wait till Royal Rumble. Hell in a Cell. They can wait any time and cash it for the championship opportunity and essentially almost guaranteeing yourself a championship right there. As there have not been a whole lot of failed cash-ins as much as there have been successful. So again, it's just going to depend on who and when you cash in, which is going to be fun for the next 365 days to see what is going to happen of who's going to win, the men or the women. It's going to be a fun time to see, especially since it's going to be at corporate headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut. The other matches that are going to happen, WWE Universal Championship, Strowman taking on Bray Wyatt, not the Fiend, not the, let me in, Mr., but more along the lines of the psychotic Mr. Rogers, the lovely person. Hold on, wait. Some ain't feeling right on this side. So, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Houston, do we have a problem? Houston, I know when I said, Bray Wyatt and the Fiend, I didn't think that was going to be transported to the Firefly Funhouse. Okay, I better get through this before I get the Fiend coming through. So Universal titles on the line. SmackDown Women's Championship will be on the line. Bayley will take on Tamina, one-on-one action. WWE Championship will be on the line. Drew McIntyre will take on Seth Rollins. And then a fatal four-way tag team title match for the SmackDown titles will be happening. New Day will take on Miz and Morrison. Will take on the Forgotten Sons. We don't know which of the three is going to be doing it. With Cutler, Riker, and Blake representing the Forgotten Sons, and the Lucha House Party will be in the mix. Now, wait a minute. Okay, as long as we don't hear the theme song, we'll be fine. So I think I could get rid of that part. I think we can get rid of this quick. Put that. Because I know Mercy the Buzzard's right behind me in the box. I know the Witch is right behind me and Rambling Rabbit. But as long as we do not hear the theme song, we'll be fine in this limbo. But yeah, back to the fail four-way. I know when I said that the Usos were, is going to be good for them to be out for a little bit. It also gives these guys a new chance for new tag teams to get into the title picture and to get some more fresh faces. Point in general with what's happening with the SmackDown division, tag team division right now. New Day and Miz and Morrison, the establishment right now. And you got the new blood with the Forgotten Sons and the Lucha House Party, who's making their return into this mix. So it'll be a great thing to happen for these teams to get new blood into the mix, which is going to be interesting to see. And I hope that they do well with this opportunity to get Lucha House Party into a better and even elevate them more with Grand Metalik and Lince Durago, I want to say. And then, of course, the Forgotten Sons. You got Wesley Blake, who's a former NXT Tag Team Champion. Knows how, can do it. And you got Jackson Ryder, and you got Steve Cutler. You got new blood in this division now. So let's use them. Let's get them some higher stock so we can use them down the line, or we can give them, more opportunities to help improve the division, which they're doing right now. So this will be a great opportunity for these guys. Okay, I don't know about you, but I think, Rambling, can I leave? Can I get out of the fun house, please? Because I know I said I said the BW word, and I haven't heard the Fiend. I haven't heard him. So can I go? Okay, I think I've been given the okay I can go back to Money in the Bank, setting. I can go back to that magical land. Oh, there we go. Okay, now I'm out of that hellhole, that destructive hellhole that is called the Firefly Funhouse. I don't need to be having that craziness if you're watching this on our Facebook and our YouTube page. I don't need to hear that destructiveness of the Fiend. So anyhow, so yeah, that is essentially Money in the Bank right there. That's going to be happening. What we do know for AEW's Double or Nothing card that will be happening down in Jacksonville, Florida, where they're currently recording Dynamite shows right now, is that we know that it'll be the finals for the AEW TNT Championship, the finals between Cody and Lance Archer. We'll have a one-on-one match with Moxley and Brody Lee for the world title. And it was announced that there will be a casino ladder match for a future world title opportunity. We do not know who's going to be in this match. So there is a lot of things still left to be determined and shown as we are done with this week. Granted, SmackDown is tomorrow night. Haven't heard any much about what's going on, except Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville are going one-on-one. And they're bragging up as it's going to be the to sell the score and everything what's been going on. But that is going to be it for me. Yes, I know. 45 minutes show. It's a good week. It's a short, good week. But you know what? I kind of really do not want to get transported back to the Firefly Funhouse and have to deal with Bray Wyatt. So I'm just going to be gone for the moment for a little bit till that heat dies down. So yeah, let's get through the last spiel. So yeah, with the NFL Network or NFL season starting to get hyped up, we know that the boys will be back with they're constantly getting you guys good information and looking out for picks you guys need to be looking for your fantasy drafts, so you can get win in your office pool, win in your fantasy leagues, or even make that money in dual and in all of your leagues that you join, or to make that big old money with FanDuel. Just these guys know what they're talking about. So yeah, if you guys want to, or sorry, not want to, if you need to follow these guys. See, they will be at the Flex Network 1. That is where you'll get your football and fantasy football content and info. They will be hopping on here with on YouTube, on the Facebook channel, to get you guys looking to see who you guys need to be picking up with Season Long Says, Sealy Shane, and it is just going. These guys you need to check out, of course, and get your information so you can win in fantasy football. Of course, you guys know where to follow us here at the Wrestling Side, FlexNet_PW Elite, for all of your wrestling content. Man, I just had that weird feeling that I'm gonna get that Bray Wyatt coming back. But yeah, so if you guys should be following us on Twitter for at the Flex Network 1 for your football and fantasy football content, at FlexNet PW Elite for your wrestling content. And I will be back here next Thursday for another week in review show, talking about what happened at Money in the Bank and break down what was happening. That is going to be it for me. So before I get sucked back into the Firefly Funhouse, I'm going to peace out. So this has been the SnowMan, and this has been the Flex Network Week in Review show for pro wrestling, and we will see you guys later. Peace. Enjoy Money in the Bank, guys.